We have the manufacturers, we have the supply, we have the demand, but it's just getting it into all of those routes in between so that everyone can get their hand on the right number. This video is about the N95 mask shortage and how it's possible that there are such large suppliers of masks, but they're not getting into the hands of the doctors at the moment. I want to do this through an analogy with Mars bars. So if you wanted to buy a Mars bar or two, you would probably go to your local shop, and that's where you could buy the right number. And the reason you can do that is because your local shop at some point will have bought about 5 or 10 boxes of Mars bars, and they will have bought those from their local supplier, who will at some point have bought perhaps 100 or 200 boxes of Mars bars. They will have bought that from their supplier, who will have bought perhaps 1,000 boxes of Mars bars, and at some point those suppliers will have bought perhaps 10,000 boxes of Mars bars direct from Mars, who actually make them. But if you couldn't get a Mars bar in your shop, in your local shop, you probably wouldn't go direct to Mars, partly because perhaps you don't have the money to pay for 1 million Mars bars, and you probably don't ever need 1 million Mars bars. You only need 1 or 2. And that's what's happening in the supply chain at the moment. The doctor in a particular unit who needs 100 masks is not saved by someone like me, who can go direct to a manufacturer who is making 500,000 masks or perhaps even 1 million. But there is a couple of steps removed from the manufacturer. There are suppliers who do buy in large quantities. Then we can begin to fill up the supply chain again, so that the doctor or the care home that is trying to buy 100 or 1,000 can get their hands on them at the moment. But it's very difficult for that doctor to go direct to the manufacturer and spend £2 million on a production that they don't even need. So that's some of the issues around filling up the supply chain with N95 masks. We have the manufacturers, we have the supply, we have the demand, but it's just getting it into all of those routes in between so that everyone can get their hand on the right number.